Hello guys, this is leathertoolz. Today I want to talk again about the cutting boards, which I already did quite a while ago. If you haven't watched the video, you can just click here. I will just put the video up into the corner box so that you can click on, you can just watch it. So if I talk briefly about it, before even really go into video, I'll just tell you. I already talked about what surfaces is the best for your cutting boards. And I already pointed out that HDPE, this high density polyethylene cutting boards are the best for your cutting application because it's really soft for your edge, such as this kind of round knife, and it glides much better than any other cutting surfaces. So if you're using your round knives, like this, it should glide because you don't necessarily take a lot of force to it, so it cuts leather much better with this type of hard yet soft, and really the surface really glides well. If you are on IG, on Instagram, you'll find a lot of Japanese leather craftsmen use this type of green transparent cutting mats. This is Japanese cutting mat. It's called binibrai or binyuban. It's Japanese, and it means just a vinyl plate. So what it does is actually it's really soft type of cutting board, but it's not soft as this type of a very pliable cutting board like this one. This is really soft one, like it bends and stuff, but this one is like quite rigid, like it stays in shape, like even you hold it like this, it shows quite good rigidity. And even the long one, big ones, does also show quite a good rigidity into their shape, which I really like. I had a trouble finding where you can source this all around the world, and it happens to be the answer was the under the light, we call it in Korean. I could find it on leathertoolz.com. I'll try to put the link in the description box where you can buy these. This is a Japanese product. It's only available in Japan, which is quite unique. And this is a PVC material, and the PVC it has a different all types of PVC material. You have a hard one, you have a soft one, but this is more like a hard one, hard PVC, which is used also in pipe as well. But this is little softer than the pipe PVC material, and you can cut this in a shape that whichever you like. So this small one I received from Nobuyoshi Craftsman about 2 years ago. No, I think 3 years ago. And it was on 4 sides like this. It was misaligned shape, so I just cut it into that square, into a really nice square on 4 corners. So I just had to, I just cut it on the 4 sides. And you can cut it with a leather knife. You can just cut it multiple times. It took about 50 cuts to cut one side. So every time I cut one side, I try to expose a new blade, and I cut it on the next side. So with the fresh blades, just cut the same spot and over again. So even you can cut cutting board with your knife. So that's a tip. So the reason why I didn't include this in the previous video was that I didn't want to confuse everyone about cutting boards, because I know a lot of people are not using Japanese leather knives. So this is the Japanese leather knife that I use. This is my self-made version. This is 01 Tools steel. And if you have a real Japanese leather knives, those are made of really high hardness steels. They are heat treated to very high hardness. So like if you have a white steel, those will be around 63, 64. If you have a blue steel or super blue steel, Nobuyoshi for example, it will be around hardness around 67 or 68. Really, and because of that such high hardness, it's quite difficult to sharpen, and also you need to be really careful about what kind of cutting surface you're using. Those blades will not break while you use on such a hard surface like this type of HD polyethylene cutting boards, but it's really the best if you use soft material like Japanese cutting mat. So it's really interesting that Japanese leather knives are really good combination for Japanese cutting mats, but it is true. But a lot of people are not really neglecting that point, that you can just use any cutting surface like this kind of cutting mat which also a lot of Japanese craftsmen does also as well. But the best choice to really protect your blade to getting it dull is using this type of Japanese cutting mat. But there's a downside to it. First, if you're using this type of round knife or any other Western style knife that you cuts it by pushing it, or it cuts it by gliding, yeah, gliding force. These type of PVC cutting mats are terrible for that job. So I will not say that this Japanese cutting mat is the best cutting material. I am still holding my opinion for best cutting surface is just a normal cutting board, HDP cutting board. They will find it on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description or comment box where you can purchase this. So this surface is such a universal cutting surface for your Western knife and also Japanese craftsman knife, but and also this type of disposable blade. But if you want to get the best performance for your Japanese leather knife, you better get this Japanese leather cutting mat, because how it really softs and how it really protects the blade really helps you to cut leather much better, and also protects your sharpness of your blade much longer than your HDP cutting board or this type of hard surface cutting boards. It does really make a difference, and it becomes really pleasant to use on this cutting mat. The lifetime of cutting board I want to talk about is that you can use this kind of cutting mat if you are hobbyist. You can use it more than 7 or 8 years. I've seen also guys using it for 10 years if you're a hobbyist. If you're a professional, if you do this every day and if you use it a lot, it depends, but still you can use at least 5 years. Yeah, at least 5 years. This transparent cutting board will become white. I mean, like, because of the all cutting action that you do on this cutting surface, like this, it really doesn't really give you a transparent look anymore. It will turn into a really white scratch surface, but still you can cut it on that damaged surface, and over it still will give you the same performance just like you got the new ones. So that's also beneficial about this Japanese leather cutting mat. You can get the really long lifetime out of it once you start using it. But it's always better to have fresh cutting mats once in a while. I've seen a lot of Japanese craftsmen custom makes this type of cutting mat to the same specific size for their work tables, which I always really wanted to do as well, but I'm here now in Europe that I can't do that anymore. So maybe I'm looking for alternative option as well. You will see what I do in the future. And yeah, so if you are having such a big surface, work table surface like this also as well, if you have a very severely damaged work surface like this, there are also services that they grind off the surface of the cutting boards. Of course, there are some limitations how big, width, wide you can just put through the machine, but then still you can resurface this type of cutting boards. If you have one near you that you're lucky, you can use their surfaces and you can still keep this same cutting mat, but you get the new surface again after it's used. I think it will be cheaper to buy a new one some places, so it just depends where you live. I don't have any company that does that for me, so if I will have a severely damaged work surface on this, I'll just flip it and I'll use the underneath side, and then if I'm also done with this side, I'll just maybe throw it away and we'll have to get a new one. Yeah, I think it'll be better economical choice for that. Yeah, you can see the quality of the cutting board, because once you get it the first time, you can see already this is not even surface. I see this side is more dimpled and this side is also dimpled. It's not even surface. It's the quality of the cutting board. It was cheap, so I understand. So once I really get it resurfaced again, maybe I will get the flatness again from that job, which I would really like, but couldn't find one yet. So still, I'm just using it like this. Yeah, so that's it. So if you want to look for really nice cutting mat for your Japanese leather knife, Japanese cutting mat is your go-to place. I'll just put the link in the comment box as well, so that if you want to decide, you can click and go there. Yeah. So that's it. So thanks for watching, guys. As always, I'll see you guys next video. Bye bye.